Hey, welcome back to the Monday All Weekend Show. We got some interesting topics to talk about with you today, so stick around.
And we're back.
Yeah, if you're in the comments while this is, live, we're not going to be able to respond just because we're pre-recording this because Joe has some other business to take care of today.
Yep.
So we're just going to talk about our topics. It's just going to be me and Josh today.
Yep, I'm here too.
And that's kind of going to be the show. So
Yeah.
let's jump in head first to the first topic, which is the box office for Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Okay.
We went and saw this.
We did.
What was
we
that,
did.
Saturday?
Yes, it was
Feels
Saturday
like-
afternoon.
It
yeah.
feels like a long time since Saturday.
It does feel like a while.
We went and watched this. We have kind of like a full review somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit on the podcast that's coming out next week. So check that out.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about it a little bit.
We will give like a full review at some point. But, whether we liked it or not, the box office is tracking at, let's see, 118.4 million in the U.S. after Sunday. So that's a pretty good number, I think. That's a good opening weekend.
That's okay. I don't think it's like Marvel standards, but
True.
I don't know. I mean, when we went, I will say, I specifically told you, I was like, it feels like it's empty for being here on a Saturday.
Yeah.
There was nobody in the theater.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that this movie has to do real good numbers on the second weekend.
Yeah.
And from kind of what I saw in the movie, I don't know that this is gonna get a lot of word of mouth kind of people in the theaters. So that's some people's only thing is if my friend recommends it, I'll go to the theater to watch it.
Yeah.
This seems, maybe less enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Not ultimately all enthusiasm is gone, but this seems a little bit less than we normally see from a successful Marvel movie.
Yeah.
The rest of this title says James Gunn's final film for Marvel fared even better overseas for a global start north of 289.3 million. So that's big, but you want your domestic numbers to be big with these Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm. You said it's kind of all about word of mouth, and if you'd recommend someone to go, would you recommend someone to go? Because I already gave my answer on the podcast. I can talk about it here, but I would not.
That's really tough for me because the stuff that I liked, I really liked, and the stuff that I didn't like, I really didn't like. So it's really hard to say, go watch it. I recommend. Actually, I guess it's not. If I can't really say I recommend it. This isn't one of those movies where it's like, you have to go to the theater to experience this. This isn't like, I don't know, Top Gun. Even though Top Gun was a little bit less complex maybe as some other movies, seeing it in the movie theater with the music and the planes and everything audibly was captivating. And the same with other movies of high caliber, like some Chris Nolan movies or Dune or something that you want to experience for the visuals or the sound or the acting. I don't think enough of that was in this movie. And that's why I don't think it's going to get that second weekend return that it needs to be successful. Because, let's be honest, they say that they spent, what, $260 million on this or something like that?
Something like that.
It has to be more. Looking at this movie,
Probably.
visual effects alone, it's a lot. And it's a long movie, too. It's not short.
No, it was a decent amount of length. I don't really recommend it, but it is curious. We kind of wanted to talk about with this opening weekend. So they kind of teased at the end credits, and Chris Pratt said on some interviews, he said, the Guardians are kind of finished that we know that team, but he will definitely be back, Star-Lord, and maybe some of the characters. So they are kind of predicting that they're probably going to do either like a solo Star-Lord movie, or they're going to show a movie about the Guardians that we see at the end of the movie. And I for people who haven't spoiled it, I don't want to spoil anything, but like the team that we see is not that team. That's not the Guardians anymore.
So one of the things that Marvel has been doing that a lot of people don't like is sort of passing the mantle, so to speak. But people like Tony Stark as Iron Man. People like Steve Rogers as Captain America. It's different with the Guardians, because even in the comics, the team kind of swapped out sometimes you would have Nova in there. Sometimes you would have Adam Warlock as one of the Guardians. Sometimes you would and Cosmo and all the other characters. And sometimes Peter was leading, sometimes not. I think for the most part Peter was leading. But that makes sense. And you're right, we might see a different iteration of the Guardians, which is fun. I enjoy that. Yeah. What I do know is that Dave Bautista made a tweet that was kind of thanking Drax for being his breakout role, and being sad that Drax the Destroyer is done. Which is is sad, because I don't think anybody else is going to be able to play Drax, so we're not really going to be able to see him on screen unless they do like a multiverse thing and bring in somebody else.
Yeah, and they better not do that.
I would hope not.
That would be a little bit weird.
Because I would say, as far as characters from the first, second, third, every iteration, every movie he's in, he's probably the most consistent, and never feels like he drags this movie, at least. And it's going to be difficult to see him leave.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be sad for that character to not be on screen anymore. But I think Dave Bautista even last year we saw him in some really good stuff.
Yeah.
To where I think he's got a good career ahead of him with his acting, and he wants to do that. He wants to get more dramas. He doesn't want to be a comedy, or like, he doesn't want to do that stuff. He wants to kind of, stretch himself as an actor. So I think that's the best move for him, to be honest.
But I mean, I think even in a comedic role, like Guardians of the Galaxy, he has put a lot of heart into this character.
Yes,
There's
he definitely
some really touching moments with Drax in all three of the movies. I don't know about as much in like the Avengers movies that he's in, but that's more like the comedic Drax. But the really touching, heartfelt, emotional, Drax that we get to see in the three Guardians movies, I think is good. That's what's the word I'm looking for? It's it looks good on his resume.
Yeah. I mean, and two, without spoiling anything, he's in my opinion did the most of that in this third movie. So he definitely is shining through and not just playing this kind of dumb meathead that is the comic relief. And he is definitely, there's moments that shine through.
I think his and Mantis's relationship
definitely.
throughout the second and third movie is probably one of the strongest character like buddy relationships.
Yeah.
Aside from maybe Rocket and Groot.
Yeah.
Who don't get a ton of screen time in this one together. Mantis and Drax kind of carry that buddy, that buddy element that a lot of people are looking for in these movies. I think it'll be it might be cool to see a Star-Lord movie. They didn't totally emasculate him like they've done with a lot of other Marvel heroes. He stood on his own. He was a hero. He got resolution to some things in this movie. So seeing him move into another film makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've already got plans for that, but there is still a chance that things can be canceled. I mean, it takes back to kind of what we're talking about. Did the box office do good enough? Are they going to make enough money from this film to not just say, well, we're going to cancel it. We're going to move on to different projects because this is ultimately not working. I think they did, and I think that we will see like a Chris Pratt as Star-Lord again. It's just, is he going to have his own movie, or are they going to do like Guardians, or what are they going to do? I mean, we'll just, I guess, have to wait and see.
Yeah. I guess.
Is that all you wanted to talk about Guardians?
Yeah, I mean, there's other stuff, but that's getting into review of the movie territory. We don't want to do that. We do want to thank you guys for coming in here and being a part of the show, leaving comments, get into the live chat when we're here, maybe when we're not here too. If you guys are just there talking to each other, that's really fun.
Yeah.
And we would appreciate it if you haven't already subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out some of our other stuff, and go to the Patreon too.
Yeah, I mean, if you enjoy like this live, we have more stuff on the Patreon that's going to be more personal. We have a pre-show that's kind of like this that we do for the podcast every week, and you can watch that on the Patreon. So if you would like to, and if you enjoy this, then go check out the Patreon. That would also be greatly appreciative.
Yeah, Patreon's a fun place.
Yeah,
we got a lot of stuff, and we need to put more movie commentaries on there.
Yeah, we're working. But on I mean,
we've
got quite a few though. It's not like if you join the Patreon.
What do we have? Like 6?
Yeah, we've got quite a few.
We got a couple. Yeah,
hundreds of hours probably of the pre-show at this point. We've got a lot of stuff.
Midnight Special.
Yeah, Midnight
Special, which has, I think, some of our best conversations ever.
Yeah.
I mean, both on and off the podcast, Midnight Special's got some of our best conversations. But we're going to parlay into our next topic. The writer's strike is happening.
Something's happening.
It's still happening.
Still happening.
I want to say it started before the weekend.
The article I was reading said Tuesday is when it officially started. I don't know if that was I'm pretty sure Tuesday was. There might have been talks before that, but they officially kind of started on Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
And so tomorrow will be a whole week of the writer's strike. So what is the writer's strike for, just people that are catching up?
So this is from the Writers Guild of America. It's a union of writers, and it's basically what you get with your standard union. It represents like better pay, being treated equal and fairly as far as different things go. And people are upset right now. There's a couple different things that, people are worried about. Is number one, AI. People are worried about AI, which I don't think should be a worry.
No.
Just write better. And that's the problem. People are seeing that the AI is writing pretty good. It's still not writing up to standards that
it's
a
definitely
good
not.
writer can write.
No.
So just be a better writer, A. And then B, they're not getting paid what they would like to get paid. Money's going to executives and directors and high up people.
So I've got kind of some mixed emotions with this. Like you just said, I think that we do, like actors, directors, they do put in a lot of work. I do not deny that. I mean, short films we've done is a lot of work. We've only done short films. We haven't done feature-length films for millions of people to watch. They get paid a lot, though, in my opinion. I think ultimately there's like millionaires that are these actors because they're the ones in front of the screen. I think the writers should maybe get paid a little bit more. But on the other hand, like you were also just saying, write better. We've talked about this on this show, on the podcast, on studio stuff for a while now. The biggest thing for movies right now is the writing. It's just terrible. The writers are doing a terrible job, and they're just doing this kind of half job with their writing skills, and it sounds like something that AI can write, because it's not, there's no emotion in it, there's no anything. I mean, the biggest thing I can think of is Peter Pan that just came out, Peter Pan and Wendy.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I talked about it on the podcast that came out today, and go check that out if you're interested. But on top of the things that I didn't like about the film, it just felt so emotionless. There was no emotion, and the writers they're not putting that emotion into their writing. And so I think they need to do better, but that's ultimately how they're going to get paid more.
I absolutely agree. If you're a writer in Hollywood right now and you're not part of this strike, now's the time. Swoop in. Get yourself a spot. Say, I can write. I'm not on strike. And then write some really good stuff.
Is your resume up to par?
No.
No?
No, I don't have any writing credits to my name of any kind.
Yeah, but
John Mark at least has Dying of the Leaves with you guys.
Yeah.
I don't have any writing credits like that.
You should like just submit like a couple things. Be like, here's some writing samples. You got no writers right now. Just here you go. Hold on to it. If you don't like it, then no harm come to it. But here you go.
Well, I think there's a lot of positives and negatives in this. I think we might get some better writers in there. People who are willing to come in and take the wages that are already there. Because, probably for a good studio, a writer's making over $100,000 a year.
You think?
Yeah, they're making over $100,000 a year. Granted, this is Hollywood. The living.
I would.
Living is higher. What's the term I'm looking for?
The economy is.
Yeah, it's more expensive.
Yeah, in Hollywood
live out there,
California.
Mm-hmm.
In California,
cost of living. That's the term.
I don't know. When we say writers, this is a variety of writers, because this is for film, TV. There's a lot. It's just writers in general for the Writers Guild. I think the article said there's like over 11,000 writers in Hollywood that are on strike right now. And it, depending on what you're doing, I mean, I've worked in TV before, and I'm not going to name the company I worked for, but I was very, very, very underpaid. I was an editor at a TV station, and I was very underpaid for things, and I'm just guessing, like Jimmy Kimmel or like the late night shows that people are talking about. People have been bringing up that specifically. I don't think they get paid as much as you think. So they're not maybe it is well deserved. I mean, they look at like Jimmy's salary compared to the writer's salary that are writing for him.
And that I think that's another plus is a lot of the chaff is going to be blown away. It's going to be cut out.
Yeah.
Stuff where the main guy, late night shows where the main guy isn't writing their own material and genuinely being funny, and they have to have a crew of writers. Those are on hold, all of them.
Yeah.
And like indefinitely right now. Things like The View, I don't know if that will be taken off, because that seems more like people with talking points, more podcasty. But shows like that. And also, I think a lot of the streaming shows are going to take a hit. And again, I think that's a plus. I think there's a lot of stuff that's going to be cut out, stuff that Netflix is doing, stuff that HBO is doing, stuff that Amazon Prime is doing. All these things that are probably going to come out and be bad are not going to make it out. But then again, on the other side of that coin, we're going to have a lot of stuff that maybe is good that's not going to make it, or is going to suffer, or it might actually come out and be bad.
Do you think, this is just a thought, do you think season 2 of House of the Dragon is on hold right now because of it?
It's a possibility.
No, I need my House of the Dragon. It's
a possibility.
Why? No,
I don't know.
Go give them what they want. We need House of the Dragon.
I don't know, but I think we're going to see some serious hits with this. No, a lot of shows came through the 2007, 2008. I don't know when it was.
So there was another writer's strike around 2007, I think is what we talked about.
But a lot of shows were lost. A lot of movies were hit hard.
Yeah.
Time will only tell what's going to happen with this situation. Right now, the Hollywood, what is this? New York Times. This title says it's going to be a while. No end in sight for the Hollywood strikes.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's it. A week? Mm-hmm. A week of no writers working on shows? Especially with everything being streaming now.
Yeah.
They have to write in, I guess, sort of like packets or whatever, specifically for an entire season. So that's a week's worth of work that you're not getting.
Yeah. I want to give, I talked about earlier, I said like the main people are getting paid way too much and the writers aren't. I want to give some credit. I have seen some videos and like news articles where they were talking about, I've seen actors actually protesting all with them. So it's not just like all the actors that are against these writers saying you need to come back. I think it's more big studio and like these companies that don't want to pay their writers. I don't think it's, I haven't personally seen like Jimmy protesting, but I think like he's with the writers. It's not
He has to be with the writers.
Yeah.
They're writing his stuff.
Yeah.
And he's getting paid. I can see a lot of actors being with them because they have to be, because they're writing their stuff. But I can also see a lot of actors being with them because, they genuinely want the writers, the people that make their lives possible, to make more money as well and to be able to, pay their bills, get groceries, get gas, that kind of stuff.
I'm just curious. Comment down below. I know this is a live, so we can't really interact with you guys, but comment once we get this video posted what you guys think of the writer's strike. What do you think a fair wage for like writing in Hollywood should be? Maybe, I don't know. I want to hear what you guys think about this whole writer's strike, because it is very we're on the outside. We are the viewer, but we kind of, as the viewer, we are in it, but we're not, because it doesn't really affect us except for the content that we're going to be viewing. The content
that we get, that's the most important thing.
I mean, that is how we're involved, is by being the viewer. But
you're going to see, you're not going to see it right now, but when bad shows come out due to lack of writers, then that's when we're going to get involved and say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, the writer's strike.
I think we will see the consequences of this in like 2 years, and then 3 years leaking.
I think we can. I think we'll see a lot of it this year.
You think
with shows?
I mean, maybe with shows, yeah.
I think definitely next year.
Definitely next year for like film and that kind of stuff. So
I don't know how much this is affecting films. I know from what I've heard, it's a lot of TV shows.
Yeah,
lots of TV shows.
That means House of the Dragon. Man, that's sad.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. Hopefully there's not another week of this. Hopefully they end it soon. But who knows? I don't know that the strikers are going to break before the companies break.
Yeah, ever since I watched the movie Newsies with Christian Bale, I've always wanted to go on strike. I think it'd be really cool, but no, it probably is not fun at all.
No, you're just standing out there. There's like a picket line.
Yeah.
Who knows? Well, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you tuning in, and that's Monday all weekend. We'll see you next week.